Well, today on the show, the show's called Up Close and Gnarly, and I've got the Gnarly Mom, my mom, who gave birth to me back in January 16th of 1967. Hello, Mom.
Hi, child. How are you?
I'm doing good. A little background. You had 5 children, and we're all grown up. You were married to Glenn Fitzgerald, my father, for how many years? It would be 60 today. Okay?
Yes.
60 today on June 22nd.
Yes.
And he passed away a couple of years ago.
Yes.
But that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show, because there's things that maybe I don't know about the family from the beginning and everything, and just what it's like to spend that much time married to someone. You know, it's first off, it's not easy. Everybody knows that. Marriage is not some fix-all tool that just makes everything perfect, but it's a journey. And then, well, let's start with this.
It's very worthwhile, let me say. There's ups and downs.
First Southern Baptist Church in Clovis on June 22nd, the day of the wedding. What do you remember about it?
It was very hot.
It was hot.
It was in the evening at 8:00, and it was still quite warm that day. But who cares? I was so happy. It was the happiest day of my life up till then. Of course, having babies added to the happiness.
Who gets married at night? That's a whole new thing.
Everybody did. Everybody did back then. This was way long time ago. Everybody got married at 8:00 in the evening.
Oh wow! Okay.
I mean, basically.
Did there was no video film of that, or nobody filmed it?
No video, but I had some pictures, but they're all black and white.
Right. And so this take me there. How many people do you think were in attendance?
Well, however many people, the chairs, they were everyone filled. So I don't really know. Maybe I'm not good at numbers, but every chair just about was filled.
Well, what do you remember? Do you remember? Did someone sing or tell me? I don't know anything about the wedding. So
Well, let me begin to fill you in. The maid of honor was my best friend from high school, and her name is Valerie, and she's still alive, and we still communicate every now and then. So she's one of my longest ever first best friends. Okay. And then my cousin Kay was the second bridesmaid, because usually people had about 3. And then one of my younger sisters, Mary, was a junior bridesmaid. And that was thing. And then my youngest sister was the flower girl. Now, on
That's
your
dad's, Aunt Myrna Loy,
yes,
right?
Aunt Myrna Loy, who now lives in Texas. And she's very old now, but she was a little girl then.
Wait, well, hold on. You can't say that, because that makes you're a lot older than her.
Well, yeah, I am. 10 years to be exact. So anyway.
Okay, so now dad's side.
Okay, all right. Your dad was supposed to have his best friend from when he was growing up named Dusty. However, Dusty got lost and didn't show up. So one of my best friends forever and ever, Mike McKay, ended up being our best man. And Dad knew him. We went to college with him, but I'd known him since I was a little girl. And
wait. Hold on. Okay. Dad's best man did not show up. And you brought in your friend? Why not move up one of his brothers or something?
Well, he had 2, and at that time they were best friends, and he didn't want to he would have had Russell, his younger brother, be the best man, but then that left Walter, his older best, brother. Right. And so it went Mike McKay, but Mike had gone to school with us for a whole year, and your dad knew him and liked him. And then Walt and Russell, and then my little brother Tommy was the ring bearer. And he's old now too.
Wow. Wait, I just can't believe that you brought in somebody that was closer to you than Dad to be his best man. That's just weird to me. It is what it is.
That's just what happened. And then my older brother Phil sang at the wedding because we didn't have room for him to be anything else.
What did he sing? Do you remember?
He sang, "Whither thou goest, I will go, and because And
Oh, he did a whole set? He did a
no,
whole.
there were 2 or 3. Wait, I'm not sure he sang Whither Thou Goest, because I know he sang because I liked that one. And then there was this a hymn, and it was called Savior Like a Shepherd Lead Us. I think
Who did the service? Who did the service?
A Reverend Bill Smith.
Who? Brother Bill.
Brother Bill, who had been our pastor for a long, long time.
Okay, so did anything, I don't know, funny happen during the sermon, like candle burnt something? Any mistakes?
No. Oh, I forgot about the candle lighter. We had some little foster kids that lived with us for a little while, and Billy Oliver lit the candles. He lit all of them. Bless his little heart. Anyway, and what else was I going to tell you? Oh, for the reception, you want to hear about this?
Well, before we get to the reception, did they say, does anyone here disapprove of this? They used to say that at weddings.
Yeah, they did. If there's anyone here
nobody spoke up.
No.
I'm just trying to pretend I'm there. If I was in attendance there, okay.
Okay.
So you had Phil sing a couple songs, and did you?
It was pretty much
the
regular.
Kiss? How was the kiss?
Oh, it was fine. It was fine.
Were you nervous? What about Grandma and Grandpa, your mom and dad?
Grandpa,
he brought you in?
My little daddy, little short daddy.
Your little daddy.
Well, he was short, and I was taller than he was. But anyway, he walked
Dr.
me down.
Hickson rocked you down the aisle.
Dr. Floyd Marcus Hickson walked me down the aisle.
Okay.
And if Marcus had been a popular name back then, you might not have been named Charles Floyd Fitzgerald. You might have been Charles Marcus Fitzgerald or something.
I kind of like it. Marcus, to me,
I know,
it's Roman kind of. Right.
But back then it was horrible. I mean, nobody would have been named Marcus. And so, and nobody would have known that you were named after my dad, because they all knew him as Floyd. So I'm sorry, but that's your, and anyway, that's your middle name. And it was my choice. And because I wanted you named after my dad, because he was a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Henry, nice chicken man, but he was wonderful. Anyway.
It's funny because I know some people that took his classes at Fresno State, and now these guys are older, but they said Grandpa was really tough. Like, he was not an easy A, and he would get really mad if you came in late. And
I can see that. I could see that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Well, my brother and sister-in-law took a class from him, and I would never have taken his class, no matter what.
Well, they told me they used to call him Chicken Charlie. Now, that was behind his back because he was a chicken man.
Yeah.
And so they called him Chicken Charlie. Yeah. I just found that out, and I was like, whoa.
Well, so you were really named after your grandpa, Charles
Chicken Charlie.
Floyd.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that now you do the wedding.
Okay,
it goes off without a hitch.
Let me tell you about the reception. Okay, the reception was at the Clovis Memorial Building
by Clovis High School, right?
Well,
at the time,
at the time it was Clovis High. It was across the street, and it was just one big room. And you only served back then, no dinner, no nothing, cake, peanuts, mince, and punch. That was it. And the punch was really pretty. And it had, because my bridesmaids wore purple, so the punch, we put some purple something in the punch, so it was kind of purplish.
So anyway, there was no band or no dancing, no DJ,
no band, no alcohol, no DJ, no food.
Did you throw the garter? Did you do stuff like that, or the flower?
Did I throw? Yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. I threw the flowers.
So you had a garter on, and you guys did that.
I had a garter, but I don't remember who caught it. This was a long time ago. Remember?
I know.
Yeah. I can't remember.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
I know. I wish you could have been there. It was nice.
All right. So then you had the flower toss and the garter.
Yes.
Cut the cake. Did you guys shove cake in each other's face, or were you nice?
No. We were too nice. We cut the cake, but we did not do that. We just gently fed, because we were madly in love. We were just, I was a teenager. He was 20 and 4 days. So
you guys were pretty free, but that was normal for them, wasn't it?
Yeah. His mother thought that we were never going to get married, and then, heaven forbid, it took us a year and a half to have a child, and they just knew there was something wrong with us.
Wait, was she there?
Yes, she was.
Okay,
Yes, she
so
was.
that's my grandma. I guess I only saw
I
once.
don't
Or
know.
no, maybe I didn't see her. I don't know.
I don't.
She
I
died
don't.
the year I was born.
Yeah, you never saw her because we left when she died. We left you and your brother with my parents here, and we went up north to go to the funeral. So you never saw her.
Okay.
So
And so that was
she
in
was
67.
she was different. Let's put
Well,
it that way.
she herself
She
had
had
10 children and lived in a different style.
extreme poverty, and I don't think they knew they were poor, but they were, and it was not an easy life for any of them, including your dad. I mean,
Well,
he grew up so poor, and so, but I don't think he knew how bad he was,
well,
at that time.
did all his sisters come to the wedding too?
No,
Who did? So Walt and Russ were there.
Walt and Russ. Oh, and then Walt's wife at the time, who was named Joyce Fitzgerald. And we thought it was so funny that we were both Joyce Fitzgerald.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, she
I remember
was
that.
there. She was there.
That.
And cousin Sandy had just been born. So they left her and her brother with Joyce's parents. So Joyce
Sandy
was
wasn't
there. No, she was born in May, and we got married in June. So she was a tiny little thing.
So, but the reception was not at First Southern Clovis. You guys, did they put cans to your car? And do you remember what car you had?
Well, let me tell you about the car. Our friend Mike McKay, who was our best man, loaned us his car because the car we had was not capable of going up over the grapevine or anything.
Oh, okay.
So Mike was a good friend to your dad, but
right.
Yeah.
I just think it's weird. Last second replacement and Dusty. Well, what's Dusty's last name?
He was Dusty Rhodes. RHODES.
WWE wrestler? Dusty Rhodes is a famous wrestler.
Well, this Dusty Rhodes wasn't a famous wrestler, but he was a nice guy.
I'm not lying if I say my dad's best man was supposed to be Dusty Rhodes and he got lost. That's not a lie.
Well, that's true.
Okay.
And I don't even know if he got there in time for the reception. I don't remember now. That's a long time ago, I know. But anyway.
So you go to the memorial building.
Yes, we did.
And that's where and how long were you guys there? Did you open presents there, or you didn't open presents?
No,
cut the cake.
No, we had the cake and the stuff, but the next day, my mom and dad took all the presents to their house, and the next day we went over to their house. Now, we had a really fancy honeymoon. Oh, I forgot to tell you about somebody special who was there.
Oh,
my grandma and grandpa from Oklahoma, and my aunt and uncle from Oklahoma, and their daughter.
What were their names?
Okay, grandma and grandpa were John and Ollie, but I called them Mommy and Jommy when I was a little girl, and I always called them that.
Were you the first grandchild? No, you weren't the first grandchild.
No, I wasn't the first one to get
you were
married.
You were one of the favorites, though.
Oh, I figure I was their favorite because my dad was overseas when I was born, and so my mom and I lived with them until I was 2.
So when you were a little teeny Joyce baby,
I lived with them, so I'm sure I was their favorite. I mean, I
didn't know that, I didn't realize that when I was young and I met them, and you were so excited to introduce, but he was so old and scary looking to me, and Jommy scared me because
he was the nicest man, and Dad reminded me kind of him because he just was such a sweetheart. And he was very calm, a lot like your dad, even more so like your dad than your dad was like my grandpa Jommy. But
no, I get that.
I just loved him so much. And I think that's one thing I fell in love with your dad because his demeanor was like Jommy. He was just calm. Nothing really upset him. Just and he was a lot older when you met him.
Right. Well, I remember too. You were like, we knew our mom. I mean, mom wanted us to meet this guy and wanted us to like this guy. I could tell, but I wasn't capable of understanding that I should act friendlier to this man and not be scared of him.
I know.
I mean, I'm
He
just
was a
saying.
sweetheart. But see, when I was, living with him and stuff, he was younger than I am now. And
Right.
I got to go out and help him build a carport for his garage. I mean, I was
You
very
were helping.
helpful, I'm sure, up on the roof.
I'm
And
sure you were good at that.
and there was a pear tree right there, and he was telling me about, and I love pears, and I think it's because of Jami, because of
All
the
right.
pear tree.
Now this is Perkins, Oklahoma, outside of Stillwater.
Well, when I was helping build the thing, it was between Stillwater and Perkins, right in the middle. It was 5 miles from one and 5 miles to the other.
What was it called? Just
it was just country, but I mean, it was just
okay.
They did a lot of shopping down in Perkins, but the doctors and stuff, well, some of them were up in Stillwater. And Jami was a postmaster.
Right.
He was a postmaster in the little town of Perkins, and he delivered the mail in a horse and buggy or horse and whatever.
Rain, sleet, snow,
well,
no matter.
Sometimes those dirt roads got so bad that I don't know how he delivered the mail. And then when he retired from being a postmaster, he worked up in Stillwater, and I kind of think he was the janitor at the post office or something. But anyway, he just worked and worked and worked and worked. And one time he had a job as a soda clerk at a drugstore. I don't remember now where the drugstore was, but anyway,
that used to be a job. You poured the drinks.
Yeah,
basically.
It wasn't
milkshakes and things like that.
Yeah, milkshakes, cherry Cokes. I mean, it was just a little drugstore. I think it was in Perkins. I don't remember for sure. It was a long, long time ago.
No, but I mean, that's it's relevant to this.
Well, every summer our family went back there and stayed a month or 6 weeks. So it was like, and I met friends that I'd see them every summer when we came. And part of the time they were out in the country, which I loved. And then they moved into town, and that was fun too, because I got to meet a lot more people. And they went to a church that was, when they lived in town, that was right across the street from them. So they had a lot of activities for the kids. And I was up till about 18 or so. I did that every summer. And we'd have volleyball games, and they had a basement, and they would have snacks and all kinds of stuff. So it was just
fun.
Now that place is a Western auto store. Can you imagine turning a church into a Western auto store?
It's like a mufflers in the choir loft. I kind of remember that.
I don't know. Anyway.
But this is the kind of Americano that like Disneyland tries to capture on Main Street. I mean, it was wholesome just American small town.
Yeah. They had one stoplight, and I don't know that they had it that long ago, but that's all they have is one stoplight.
Right. And so then your father, though, Grandpa, Dr. Hickson, gets a job. I believe he went to Kansas, and then
he went
to Oklahoma State.
He was at Oklahoma State, then he went to Kansas, then he came back to Oklahoma State. He got all kinds of degrees. I'm not exactly sure what. But I went to kindergarten in Manhattan, Kansas, and then we moved to Oklahoma, but I wasn't old enough to go to first grade, so I had to stay home for a year. And then we moved back to Kansas, and my friends were all in the second grade, and I was only in the first grade, and I didn't flunk. Oklahoma wouldn't let me go to first grade because they didn't have kindergarten.
Well, the cutoff, it was probably November.
The cutoff was November 1st, and my birthday was the end of November.
Right.
And we didn't, so anyway, that's fine.
So that's the kind of the Oklahoma. And now we go back to the wedding. Now you're at the reception.
We're back at the wedding.
So Grandma, they all came down there. And then you guys... Now
I'm sure you want to hear about the honeymoon.
Well, just keep it clean.
That's my...
Where did you stay? Where did you guys stay the first night?
We stayed at the Motel 6 on Blackstone.
The one in Blackstone and Ashland?
Yes, that one, which has changed since we were there.
Not the safest place to stay now.
Well, it wasn't that bad then. And we stayed 2 nights. And it was $12 plus tax, I'm telling you,
Wow.
So I don't know. It might have been $14. Well, I don't think it was
Okay.
that much.
So then
Anyway,
you go back to your mom and dad's to open the presents.
okay. We got married on Saturday night.
Uh-huh.
Did I say Friday? It was Saturday because the next day we went to a church because we were church going people and I
Right.
still am. Anyway, some of the people in that church that we didn't know we were going to see anybody were at our wedding. And it was like, oh yeah, we're here. But anyway, then Sunday night, we went back to Mother and Daddy's house and we opened all the presents because my aunts and uncle and Mommy and Jommy were there. And
so
then,
Mommy and Jommy is grandparents and mother and father. So it's so, I don't know. It's funny how you call them mother and father and Mommy and Jommy. I mean, it's just the formalness.
Well, what I would say is my mom and dad, but my mother liked it that I always called her mother. And I don't know exactly why I did that, but
that was
I
her
did.
thing. That was her thing. Okay.
Anyway, the second day of our lovely honeymoon, all of the relatives and Dad and I went to Yosemite because Mommy and Jommy and my aunt and uncle had never been there. And so and it seems to me like we took Mike McKay's car and my Aunt Elva, who was the crazy one in the family, like sometimes I've heard you called the crazy one in our family. I mean, not all the time, but most of the time. Anyway,
first off, I love her name.
I know.
It's a cross between Elvis and Evel Knievel, I think.
You should hear her whole name. Elva Ernestine. How do you like that?
Oh my goodness. She was one of my fans, and there was Winifred and Velma and Martha and Cecil and John L.
Yes,
correct?
That's it. But let me tell you what good old Elva did. Every time we got out of the car, because we drove to different places around Yosemite, she would try to get in the middle between me and Glenn. She just thought that was so funny. And she was real small. She was real short and small. So, that was fine. But it thrilled her. So
It made her laugh.
Yeah,
and she was married to Morris. And was Morris there too?
Uncle Morris, yes. And he was Maurice. And we always called him Uncle Morris, not Maurice. He was Uncle Morris. But then the second night, that was Tuesday. We got married on Saturday. This was Tuesday that we went to Yosemite. And our friends, the Kurtz, were out of town. So they offered to let us stay at their house so we wouldn't have to pay another $6 for Motel 6. So we spent 1 or 2 nights at their house.
Which is directly across from Grandma's house? Or not at that time?
No. They lived over behind what was Clovis High. I don't remember now what street. But anyway, I think that was the end of our honeymoon. But I don't know if you want me to skip 20 years. But 20 years later, Dad planned, this is not like Dad, but he planned a trip for us to Hawaii. So we spent our 20th anniversary and his 40th birthday in Hawaii. And the best thing about it was he did all the planning.
Well, so what's funny about that is that, so your honeymoon really was going to the Motel 6
and then
in Yosemite with your parents?
I don't know that my dad went. He worked all the time, but yeah, my little brothers and sisters, my cousin, and
it's so different than the way things are now.
I forgot my cousin Pat, who was Kay, my bridesmaid's brother, and I think his parents were there too at my wedding. It's been a long time.
Right? No. That all makes sense.
But I'm not sure there were several cars of us going up to Yosemite, but I just don't remember exactly who all was there.
And so then did Dad have to get back to work, or what happened?
Well, yes, because, we were students too. And
this is at CBC? You guys are still in Riverside?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We stayed there
for a long time. So you came all the way to Clovis to get married?
Yes, because I grew up there. And so it was easier on my, my parents if we did it up here, because basically my mother planned everything for my wedding. And so anyway, we came up here, then we went back to Riverside. And why did we still have Mike's car? I don't know why we still had Mike's car, but we did. And he had to go to work. He worked in a restaurant called the Silver Bell Restaurant. He was a
The
fry
Silver
cook.
Bell.
Yes, and let me tell you about the first week we were married. The first time he went back to work, I think, was probably 5 years no, it was a Sunday night. So I guess he had a whole week off. I don't know what we did some of those days, but anyway, we had a little house in Riverside that we had already put all of our stuff in, and well, all of our stuff. It was furnished, and we just put our clothes and wedding presents in it.
Right.
And so he had, because we were both going to school, this is his weekly schedule. On Sunday nights, he worked from midnight to 8 in the morning.
Oh.
And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, he worked from 4 at night till midnight. And Friday and Saturday, he worked from 7 to 3 or 4 in the morning. Now, I am 19 years old. I've never in my life stayed by myself. And the first night he went off to work, I heard that car for miles and miles and miles.
So your brain was just, you were a kid. You didn't know. I was
scared to death to be there. And anyway, and we had this little screened in back porch. It wasn't like you go out on the porch. It was just a little screened in.
Right.
And I was so scared. And when I got up in the morning, the back door was unlocked. And I thought, oh my goodness, I've been here all by myself. But our house had windows that went all the way down to about within about 20 inches of the floor, because we moved in a house behind some friends of friends that had been his mother's house. But when I was there at night by myself, I was so scared. So some friends loaned us a TV. That's how things worked back then, because we couldn't afford one. And I would crawl around on the floor and go up and turn the knob on the TV, and then crawl back over to sit somewhere.
Who was this imaginary? Were you scared of a serial killer or something, or what were you thinking?
No, there was no serial. There were no serial killers in the 1960s or 70s.
What are you scared of?
Dogs. I don't know. No, just strange people, because it was a strange neighborhood. It was a neighborhood, it was kind of like, it wasn't like house. Here was this house they built and the house behind it. This one over here was a little bit, it was kind of it wasn't it didn't have sidewalks. I mean, it was very nice. It was
just different. It was spread out. Things were spread out in the neighborhood.
A lot different than what I was used to. And I was 19, a long time ago. And it just scared, I was just scared to be alone in the house by myself. But I kind of sort of got used to it. And then we bought a car. Did we not have one for a couple of months? I don't remember.
The Dodge Dart? Was it that one?
Oh, no. This was pre-Dodge Dart. This was a convertible that we bought from my cousin Kay and her husband. When did we buy that? Anyway, maybe it was before they were, no, because she got married real young. So I think they were married. Anyway, this car we bought, we paid them $15 a month until we paid the $800 off. And it was a convertible. And in the time when it would rain, it was best if you had an umbrella maybe up over your head to keep the rain from getting. But the thing that really scared me about that car was I would take him to work at 4:00 in the afternoon and then come back home. Or sometimes I had a class or something, or I went back to the college and visited with my friends or something, and then I would pick him up. But a lot of times I was home, so I would drive there at midnight to go pick him up. So my friend Linda, who had taken a bowling class, and they gave everybody a bowling pin, just one of those pins. And so she gave it to me so that I could take it with me in the car at night, so that if someone attacked me, I could hit them with the bowling pin.
That was your plan. That was your plan.
Nobody attacked anybody back then at night. But I had to go up over this mountain that in Riverside, it was called Lion's Head. And it was really high. And it was kind of scary. And then my landlady told me one time, she said, I worry about you going over Lionhead like that at midnight because somebody could just jump down out of there and split that top of that car open and attack you. Nobody did that back then, but she put that fear into my heart.
That was
So
great.
anyway, I was safe because I had my bowling pin with me. But what I would do, you wouldn't believe this. Okay, I would pull the car not all the way into the little carport, but even with my front sidewalk and door. So that what I would do is I was watching Jack Parr every night until 5 minutes till midnight. And then I would go out of the house, lock my door, run down the little sidewalk just to my car, slide across the front seat on the passenger side to the driver's side, recover from the shock of the seatbelt. I mean, not seatbelt. We didn't have seatbelts. The sliding across the seat was difficult. It was a Mercury and it was a convertible. Anyway, I always got shocked really bad because I slid across that seat. And so I wouldn't have to. I never thought about leaving that door unlocked and somebody could have been in the back seat. That didn't happen back then. No. But anyway,
you were more concerned about the people falling in through the top of the convertible,
through the ceiling of the car,
jumping out of a tree onto you.
Oh, another good thing about that car, I want to tell you now because I might forget. It got to a point where every time we drove it, we had to put 2 quarts of oil in it. And
every time. So it's just leaking everywhere.
Yeah. So we would go to Thrifty drugstore back then. I think is it now Rite Aid? I think it is, but it was Thrifty. And we would buy a case of oil and Dad taught me how to put it in because I was going to put it in where the dipstick goes. Unfortunately, you don't put it in where the dipstick is. He showed me. Yeah, it was too little because the oil was really thick and that little and this can opener thing that we had to open was way too fat to pour it in where the dipstick.
And you had to jab it in there.
And especially if the dipstick was in it. So he had to teach me how to put the oil in. And I did learn, but it didn't necessarily leak everywhere. There was no puddle when we left anywhere. Right. So I don't know where it went. I guess it just burned up in the engine or something. Who knows? But almost every time we got ready to go anywhere, we had to add 2 quarts of oil at 15 cents a quart, mind you. Right. I mean, it wasn't cheap back then. 15 cents.
That was like $5, maybe 10.
I don't know. What does oil cost now? I have never done that again since we got rid of that car.
I buy it in bulk. I buy it for $32, but it's like 5 quarts at one time.
Oh, 5 quarts? This was like 12 in a package. Right. And I don't remember how much we paid for it. I just know that it averaged out to 15 cents a can, approximately.
Okay, the one thing that's weird is Dad really didn't cook that much. Every once in a while, he would do stuff with eggs and flip 6 eggs or whatever. I remember that, but he could have done a lot cooler things if he's a short order cook.
After you guys left, he sort of took over and became the chef. I mean, when we didn't have any children around, we didn't fix a big formal meal. He liked salads. So he would fix a salad for me and one for him. He used all that kale and that yucky stuff. I didn't like that kind. I like good old lettuce and a green head of lettuce. And now they call it some name I don't even know. Iceberg. Oh, iceberg. There was nothing like kale or anything else. That was lettuce, and that's the one I like. But Dad liked all that stuff. That one that burns. Oh, and I'd say, don't put it. Oh, don't put any of that on my.
Yeah. Oh, but it's so funny because my brother Aaron's a pretty good barbecuer, and I do a lot of cooking. I do all the cooking in my house now, and like last night I made seared ahi on a spinach bed with a ginger sauce, and then
oh my goodness, I can't believe it.
I made spicy crab, and I plated it. Like I made it all fancy and nice, and Gina took pictures of it. I'll send you pictures. And she's just like, she goes, because she doesn't like to cook. She's just like, I can't believe you do this. I go, but I kind of like it. So I think maybe some of that came from Dad.
Some of Dad's. It had to be Dad's genes.
Because Aaron's the same way. Aaron's real snobby about his coffee, which makes me laugh. Like he wants to have really good coffee, or he's just real particular, which is both of us. And all four of the kids have dogs in the house, which is so not happening with our family.
No, Dad didn't want them in, and I definitely didn't want them in.
Right,
they were
right.
okay outside, but
I know.
Yeah, but I'm sorry we deprived all of you.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying how things are different. And so we're going to end up today right now. This is so good. I learned a little bit. I learned that Dusty Rhodes didn't show up, and I learned that some guy named Mike had to fill in, right?
Yes, but he was a friend. He was.
I know. It's just that doesn't happen these days.
He
got married at night. That's crazy.
Well, his family, Mike's family, and my family, we were friends from the time I was 8 years old. So I mean, we were at their house more than they were at our house, but just forever and ever and ever. They had 4 kids. They had 3 boys and a girl, and my family, we had 2 boys and 3 girls. So we were just about, kind of synced up with them.
Kind of hung out together.
Yeah. Well, this was fun.
Yeah. So I thank you for marrying my father, and thank you for raising us and having us. And
okay.
The one thing I get out of all this, it just wasn't that easy. It wasn't. It was different.
We had no money. But if you'll stay tuned, I'm sure I can tell you more things about our early life that you won't believe, because it was so different.
In the next couple of weeks, we're going to cover all this. I want to know about the birth of the children. I want to know things like that. Stuff really before I was born. I learned stuff that I didn't know. And I just think it's great. So, Mom,
I'll just pull it up in my memory bank, which is a little foggy nowadays. But
I wish you a happy 60th. I know Dad's not here, so it's not the way you wanted it.
I know it's not the same, but it's going to be fine. We're going to have a good time.
It's the way it is. And
I'm going to go to dinner with my daughter and some girlfriends. It's going to be a girls, and I'm going to take my wedding album, and we're just going to think about the happy things, the happy days.
And I think you should. And I think
those were the happy days, really.
Those were the good old days.
Oh, I love you, my dear.
I love you too. And thank you, Mama Gnarly, for being up close and gnarly today.